Hello everyone, my name is Bhumika and I am doing my first year BE in Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering Cyber Security. I am from Galpin section. Today the subject is waste management and in that we are going to discuss on the topic hazardous waste management. So let's begin with the presentation. So first let's get an introduction to hazardous waste management. Hazardous waste is a byproduct of industrial processes that poses a threat to human health and the environment. Proper management of hazardous waste is crucial to prevent contamination and protect public health. Hazardous waste management involves three main stages: generation, storage and collection, and transfer and transport. So at first, let's know about the generation of hazardous waste. Hazardous waste is generated from various industries such as chemical manufacturing, mining, healthcare facilities, and agriculture. The generation of hazardous waste can be minimized through pollution prevention strategies and recycling programs. Proper labeling and tracking of hazardous waste is essential to ensure safe handling and disposal. Now let's talk about storage and collection of hazardous waste. Hazardous waste must be stored in designated containers that are compatible with the waste type to prevent leaks and spills. Storage facilities should be equipped with secondary containment systems and proper ventilation to minimize risks. Regular inspection and maintenance of storage areas are necessary to prevent accidents and ensure compliance with regulation. Now here we'll get to know about transfer and transport of hazardous waste. Hazardous waste must be transported by licensed and trained personnel using approved vehicles and containers. Transport routes should be carefully planned to minimize risks and avoid populated areas whenever possible. Emergency response plans should be in place to address spills or accidents during transport to prevent environmental contamination. Now let's know about the extended stages of hazardous waste management, which is processing. Processing of hazardous waste involves techniques such as chemical treatment, physical treatment, and biological treatment to reduce the harmful effects of the waste. Hazardous waste is often segregated based on its properties before processing to determine the most suitable treatment method. The goal of processing hazardous waste is to minimize its volume, toxicity, and mobility before disposal. Disposal of hazardous waste. Disposal of hazardous waste involves the final placement or destruction of waste materials in a safe and environmentally sound manner. Landfill disposal, deep well injection, thermal treatment, and encapsulation are most common methods of hazardous waste disposal. It is important to select the most appropriate disposal method based on the characteristics of the waste and regulatory requirements. Classification of hazardous waste. Hazardous waste is classified based on its characteristics such as ignitability, corrosivity, reactivity, and toxicity. The Resource Conservation and Recovery Act (RCRA) regulates the management of hazardous waste in the United States. Proper identification and classification of hazardous waste is crucial for safe handling and disposal. Regulations for hazardous waste management. Hazardous waste management is regulated by federal, state, and local agencies to ensure compliance with environmental laws. Regulations dictate proper labeling, handling, storage, and disposal practices for hazardous waste generators. Violations of hazardous waste regulations can result in fines, penalties, and legal action against the responsible parties. Now let's talk about technologies for hazardous waste treatment. Hazardous waste can be treated through various methods such as incineration, chemical stabilization, and biological treatment. Treatment technologies aim to reduce the toxicity of waste, minimize volume, and facilitate safe disposal or recycling. Selection of appropriate treatment technologies depends on the waste characteristics, regulatory requirements, and cost considerations. Chemical treatment in hazardous waste management. Chemical treatment involves using chemical reactions to neutralize or transform hazardous waste into less harmful substances. Common chemical treatment methods include oxidation, reduction, precipitation, and stabilization. Proper handling and containment of chemicals are crucial during the chemical treatment processes to prevent accidents and contamination. Now let's talk about challenges in hazardous waste management. Improper disposal of hazardous waste can lead to soil and water contamination, air pollution, and adverse health effects on communities. Lack of awareness, inadequate infrastructure, and limited resources pose challenges to effective hazardous waste management. Globalization and international trade complicate waste management efforts, requiring coordination among countries to address transboundary waste issues. Now let's discuss about the best practices in hazardous waste management. Implementing a waste minimization strategy can help to reduce the generation of hazardous waste at the source. Regular monitoring, inspections, and audits of hazardous waste management practices are essential to ensure compliance with regulations. Collaborations with certified waste management companies and stakeholders can enhance the effectiveness of hazardous waste management efforts. Now let's get a conclusion on this topic, hazardous waste management. Effective hazardous waste management is essential to protect human health and the environment from the risks posed by toxic substances. Collaboration among government agencies, industries, and communities is necessary to ensure proper handling and disposal of hazardous waste. By following best practices, complying with regulations, and investing in sustainable waste management solutions, we can minimize the environmental impact of hazardous waste and create a safer, healthier world for future generations. Thank you.